Hello wrestling fans, the Wrestling Wizard here and welcome to another video. And in this video we're going to try and work out who is going to be the one to dethrone the one in Roman Reigns, the head of the table, the tribal chief, the leader of the bloodline. One of the most badass heels in recent memory. One of the most dominant champions in the modern era of WWE. And whether you love Roman Reigns or you hate Roman Reigns, you can't deny this historic reign. I mean, he's held the Universal title for 1,000+ days, which is crazy. Last time he was beaten was by Baron Corbin back at TLC, I believe, back in 2019. Like, that's madness. And of course, he's held the WWE side of this new undisputed title for, well, since WrestleMania 38, when of course he beat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, and now he's the undisputed champion. Now, the belt itself, personally, I believe it's questionable. Aesthetically, I'm not a massive fan. You can read between the lines here, but I think it looks a certain colour, gold. Not a massive fan of that. Personally, I prefer Seth's belt, his World Heavyweight title. But that being said, doesn't really matter. At least WWE have committed to this new undisputed title, and seemingly we're going to get some storyline progression moving forward with this whole bloodline dynamic. Now, with this whole bloodline dynamic, this is cinema, this is TV gold. Now, many people believe, including myself, that the person to dethrone Roman Reigns should come from within the bloodline. And I still, to a certain degree, believe that. I don't think they will go down this route, but I believe it would go down well if Jey Uso, for instance, was to be the one to dethrone Roman Reigns. After all, this whole bloodline storyline started because Roman Reigns essentially bullied Jey Uso into joining him, becoming his right-hand man. Main event Jey was no longer, and of course he just played servant to Roman Reigns. And you got to remember, it got to a point where Jimmy Uso was so against joining Roman Reigns. Like, it was literally borderline psychological manipulation and bullying from Roman Reigns to get the two on side. Jimmy literally threw in the towel for Jey Uso in the matchup, of course, they had between Jey and Roman Reigns. And we can't forget that. Like, it all stemmed from that. And through a pandemic era, which was pretty dull, to say the least, like, this was one of the shining elements from that era of WWE. And we can't forget that. So if things were to come full circle and main event Jey was to be re-emerged and be the one to take out Roman Reigns, that would be like perfect, wouldn't it? That would be like storyline telling. It's basically cinema, and few could argue that that wouldn't be a popular choice. But I just don't think they're going to go down that route. I think there'd be a fantastic moment at the time, and then you'd be like, well, hang on a minute. I've only really known Jey Uso as a tag team, as part of the Usos for so long. Would I be able to take him as a single credible act to defeat Roman Reigns when Cody Rhodes couldn't get the job done at WrestleMania due to some dodgy shenanigans? And I don't believe they would go down the Solo Sikoa route. I mean, think about this logically, right? Cody Rhodes beat Solo Sikoa leading up to WrestleMania. And I think that was WWE's subtle way of saying, like, Solo's great, he's going to be fantastic, he's going to be a world champ down the line, but not now. Like, I don't believe they're going to push him to that level. Like, Roman's level is just to another stratosphere. And the one man that I feel is there is Cody Rhodes, and we'll come on to that in a moment. But you can't also rule out other options, like Gunther. That is a man that, arguably, in my personal opinion, is the best wrestler in WWE. Purely and simply, I believe, technically, just the pure physicality of the man, the aggression. Watching that Sheamus Gunther match at Clash at the Castle in person was just like mind-blowing. It was so good. Gunther has got that it factor. But still, I believe at this point they're just going to absolutely push the boat as far as they can with the IC title reign. He will get his moment. He will be a world champion. Whether it be the undisputed champion or the world heavyweight champion. On the Raw side, you've got to remember Gunther is on Raw as well. That's going to be the title he's going to go for in the near future. And I believe that will be his path. He will be world champion, but I just don't believe WWE will go all in on him being the one to dethrone Roman Reigns. So that also brings up another legit candidate in Bray Wyatt. Now, personally, I don't think WWE will go with this. But when we talk about things coming full circle, Roman Reigns' historic Universal title reign started way back in 2020 at Payback when he defeated Bray Wyatt, The Fiend, and Braun Strowman. Now, granted, The Fiend wasn't pinned. Roman Reigns pinned Braun Strowman to start this historic reign. But you got to remember, Roman Reigns called The Fiend a freak in a mask. Those two haven't headed face to face since. And obviously there's a lot going on with Bray Wyatt at the moment. We've covered this in numerous videos. He's not in WWE on time recording this video at this point. But he will be back. Is it a revenge angle? You know, Bray did say he used to think that revenge was a confession of pain, but he still believes that. Is this the full circle moment that has been teased throughout? And are things going to come full circle? They were supposed to have a feud back in the pandemic era, I believe. But in the end, of course, they went with this angle with the Bloodline, with Jey Uso. That's why we saw the wobbly walrus briefly in the Firefly Funhouse, and then that got scrapped because they went against a Bray Wyatt or Fiend Roman Reigns feud at the time. I believe so. So you can't rule Bray Wyatt out. I don't think they'll go with it, but you've got to put him in the conversation. Now, I know there's so many other superstars you could add into the mix, but I'm going for legit picks that WWE would likely pick rather than who I would pick. If I had my way, I'd have someone like, I don't know, Edge, to be honest with you, just retire him with the main belts. But when you think of Edge, you think of the World Heavyweight title, so I certainly think there's going to be money on the table there. So that leaves us with the logical pick in Cody Rhodes. Now, we know it's a predictable one, but it just makes sense. Cody Rhodes is by far the top babyface in WWE at the moment, with the exception of, you could say, Seth Rollins as well. But consistently, since Cody Rhodes has come back, he has smashed it out the park. He is a veteran now in the wrestling industry. He's done his bit. He's reinvented himself. He's come back. And he's just been a huge hit in WWE. He moves so much merch, it's ridiculous, like on par or even more than Roman Reigns sells. I will have to check that out, who is the leader at the moment between the two, but I know it's very, very close. He's so immensely popular. He's got this story which he hasn't finished, and I believe WWE have purposely swerved him away from the World Heavyweight title scene as sort of a detour to eventually get him back on track, and he will challenge Roman Reigns down the line. He will get his rematch. Now, I know there's been this speculation, this talk that WWE's plans allegedly isn't to revisit the Cody Rhodes Roman Reigns match and have a rematch at next year's WrestleMania, but they would tell you that, wouldn't they? At this moment, they probably don't know for concrete what the plans are, but I think they do know eventually that we're not going to be done with Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. We're going to get that second match, where the logical pick would be Cody Rhodes to finish the story. In that time, of course, you've got this filler with the Brock Lesnar feud. I think Cody Rhodes is probably going to have another feud. Personally, I'd be down for a heel Drew McIntyre going after Cody Rhodes and a feud there between the two. That would be pretty cool. But I certainly feel there's going to be more in terms of feuds for Cody Rhodes to fill him in the time leading all the way into next year's WrestleMania. I just can't see past any other logical pick than Cody Rhodes being the one to dethrone Roman Reigns, and it going down really, really well with the vast majority of WWE fans. I personally was one of probably the few that didn't think that this year was the right time to pull the trigger on Cody Rhodes, but just look at the reaction the guy had, and he's still getting like ridiculously over as a baby face. They don't want to wait too long. I certainly feel they don't want to wait until like next year's SummerSlam, for instance. So I truly believe next year's WrestleMania would be the time and place. Have the rematch, have Cody go over, and it'd just be this amazing moment on the 40th anniversary of WrestleMania. What do you think? Get down in the comments section, share your thoughts and opinions, and as always, it's very, very much appreciated if you could like the video, share the video, and even better, subscribe if you're new. We'll catch you in the next one.